Well, hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Welcome. It's been a while. Welcome
Yes.
to the CC Gals. Now, we can't swear in the first 30 seconds. Should we wait
Okay.
for it? Now, the
Yeah, we'll wait.
CC Gals, also known as the Court See You Next Tuesdays, where we
That's
bring
right.
where we bring you the best court cases that are happening right now, as well as our fun commentary. I am Farron of Farron Balanced.
And I am Shanda Masta of Trailer Park Pundit.
And we have some amazing court cases for you guys this week. We've got two major ones this week that I think are really making headlines. First, though, the biggest one, I think, still making headlines.
Yes.
Okay. I know people are going to say the grift that keeps on grifting.
It never
But
goes away.
Amber Heard just doesn't leave. She's the turd that will not flush.
It never will go away. Yes. I mean, if anything, it's getting more intense. It's like the things that we've seen. So, yeah, we broke down the whole entire trial. We went through that together. And we haven't done a show in 6 weeks, I think. And there's a lot that's
Really?
developed and a lot that's happened in the last 6 weeks that you and I haven't even talked about. So I'm excited to
Wow,
get all
6 weeks.
gossipy today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Volume is low.
Yeah. Now, in these two stories, there are obviously, if you've been following the Depp trial, there are cases of domestic violence. So that's why we kind of want to put up this whole,
Always.
the domestic violence hotline so that we have that there just because, I think it's just good to have. But yeah, lots of new stuff with the Johnny Depp trial. And I have a feeling, sorry. If you thought I went a little JFK there for a second, too soon.
You were losing your mind, Farron.
I just love court cases so much. I lose my mind over them.
Yeah.
If you were wondering, oh God, sorry. If you were wondering where Eve Barlow, that little troll, has been hiding, I think
We've got lots of Eve Barlow stuff to go over. It never stops.
I think we found her. Oh God. So what do you got?
Oh my gosh. This is the power. So this is Eve Barlow, one of her tweets, right? This is the power of abuse. His fans are without any morality or limitations. They are fabricating everything just like their hero in his name and in his honor. Amber will be vindicated. You're all going down.
Say with your chest out. Yeah. Who are you talking to, honey? We don't know. The biggest point, though, with her is if you don't know who Eve Barlow is, you're in luck. She is just such a character. Is she dating Amber? Is she not? Have we figured this out?
Maybe.
Because you guys know that Amber is bisexual. So she'll have it all. But we'll get to more of that later. But I think with Eve Barlow is that she is very bold in her tweets, but also I feel like she is the only mouthpiece for Amber Heard at this point, besides all of her fake bots.
Yes,
but I feel like
she
she's
is.
like the big mouthpiece for her.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And she's every day, she's out there doing just tyrannical rants and, with her army of fake Twitter botters that are popping up, commenting everywhere. But, Farron, the craziest thing is coming into doing this case, I had never covered anything other than the politics side, right? And so we had seen the shadow banning and the censorship, and we had been dealing with that pretty much since 2016. It got worse as time has progressed. But to come out of that and kind of go into, the whole Hollywood scene and then to see it play out there too was really eye-opening for me to see so many just everyday YouTubers be shadow banned, be smeared by the mainstream media, all the crazy things that we still are seeing them do to this day.
Oh, yeah. And the one funny part about all of this, too, is, as we know, we do also have the Evan Rachel Wood trial that's going to be coming up, and not for a while, but,
Yeah.
As we've seen, many of LawTube is starting to talk about it and kind of grift with that trial next. But you will see in the second trial that we talk about where domestic violence for bigger cases against men really made the headlines and really kind of gave a voice to those men that were either felt like, beaten into silence or, thought that it couldn't happen to other men or what have you. But I will say the one part that I did like that Johnny Depp did is he said that, abuse has no gender, which I think was great because you are seeing, it's weird because you're kind of seeing a little bit of a backswing with some men who saw it and they're like, yeah, like this is why girls suck. And it's like, okay, like, yes, girls can be mean, but they're not all mean, Mr. Incels.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those where I think it's really brought to the forefront a lot of these, domestic kind of issues that can happen, and how just people can lie and continue to lie even after they've been caught in many lies.
Countless lies. Like the lies never stop, and we brought a bunch of that. As we know, the court records, over 6,000 of them were unsealed, and so we're getting a really deep look into the attorney's battle over the last couple of years, and all of the lies. I mean, even more the preposterous, crazy insanity. That thinking that people would buy this stuff or believe it. I mean, that's really what's shocking. So this is Adam Waltman. Of course, Johnny Depp was actually found guilty. Adam Waltman's statement was found guilty of defamation of Amber Heard, even though what he said was true, which is so mind-blowing. But Adam Waltman, this one goes out to all the internet journalists and the people who saw through the diabolical MSM propaganda and used the truth to take back the news. False media. We don't need it, do we? No, if it's fake, that's what it will be digging me. I think he's singing a song. Oh, it's a Public Enemy song. I'm not going to sing the Public Enemy song. Maybe Farron will. Farron, sing us some Public Enemy.
Okay. Which one? From Johnny Depp?
I think he's just quoting. He's quoting Public Enemy, the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Oh God, I have no idea.
You remember don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Yes, you do. Come on. I know you danced to it in the 90s. I did.
Oh God.
I'll find it for you.
I was in grade school. I'll find it. Yeah, I'll look for it.
Yeah. So this morning we woke up to a bombshell. I was like, oh, it's so perfect. We're doing a show today. And you want to tell our viewers what they saw?
Yeah. So if you're a big Queen fan, one of the big things that one of my favorite songs, I'll sing something, another one bites the dust, and it was Elaine. Elaine is the one that got the boot early this morning, so we heard. One of the things that I think was interesting with all of this is here she had kind of picked Elaine because it was, she was another female, and Elaine has really been with her throughout this entire journey. And it was pretty interesting and pretty shocking, at least for me, that girl got the boot, kicked to the curb.
Well, I think we knew it was coming. Remember the rumors that we reported on that Amber was screaming at her during the trial, and it just seemed like Elaine was just a yes woman to Amber. Anything you want, you're the client, it's however you want it. But you could just see and you could feel that tension from that side of the table the whole entire trial. I think it was pretty palpable. And then the very next day, she's out there defending Amber. Who else is out there on public TV defending her the way that Britta Hoff does? I think it's very telling of who Amber is. And when your time to go comes, she will throw you under the bus and act you out. And Eve Barlow, your time is coming, honey.
Oh yeah, just the clock is ticking, sweetheart. And I think it's, and what is really sad is when you see these kind of types of people, that is how the story kind of ends every time, is that there is just this, don't need you, see ya.
You served your purpose.
That's it. Yeah. And so with Elaine, it was her husband, and then her daughter for their firm. At least from the likes of this trial, we learned that it was her husband and her daughter working on it. Her daughter actually sitting in court with the team. But really? Yeah. Her daughter was in the very back row. But it's interesting because, again, I did not see this one coming at all. And now having a new team, a new legal team in Philly, pretty interesting.
Well, did
Pretty
I bring that
interesting.
breakdown? I probably didn't bring that breakdown, but I saw it today. When you look at the breakdown per hour between what Elaine is making and what Rottenborn is making, he's the cheaper of the two attorneys. So if you look at it as a money saving plan, Amber could only afford to keep Rottenbottom, is what some are speculating, and that's what it is speculation. But I'm not crying any tears for Elaine Bretterhoff, because remember, there's been allegations of her being kind of shady. Remember, was she repping DinoCorp when she destroyed some evidence, was accused of destroying evidence.
Yes.
She's a corporate corrupt kiss ass. And the media teams that are behind this, it's the same people that you and I talk about every day in politics, right?
Right. And that's where I think, again, Rottenborn was a better attorney though than Elaine. Let's just be honest. He was the cheaper one, but he was the better one. And I think when he cross-examined her the second time, when he questioned her the second time, whereas versus Elaine the first time, I thought he did a much better job. I think he kept her on pace. Elaine was all over the place. But it'll be interesting to find out. It'll be interesting to see if that's who she ended up keeping, or if she went with
Well, she got a new attorney, right? She got Axelrod, right? He's so one of the worst. And I'm going to do a dive into him one of this week or some when I do one of my shows, because these terrible attorneys at the very top, they all represent, it doesn't matter. It's one big club. And we see that so much in the Amber Heard case. So I brought Umbrella Guy, Tug. I brought his breaking news from this morning about Elaine getting her walking papers.
Uh-oh.
Big breaking news is AH has decided to fire Elaine. That's right. And not only is she firing Elaine, but she is essentially blaming her for her loss in the media. I mean, this is crazy. We're talking about the one lawyer that is tirelessly campaigned for AH. Before the trial, she was her PR team. She went out and did dozens and dozens of interviews. Anytime something would come up, she would do damage control. During the trial, she was the attack dog. She tried to destroy people. That's myself included. She went after me as well. Then, in the aftermath, she did dozens of interviews. She attacked the judge, the jury, the court. Heck, they even went after the stenographer. What's her reward? Oh, she gets blamed for the loss. She gets kicked to the curb. Yep, that's AH's MO. You and I, we're going to talk about this stuff today, too. Buckle up. The appeals process, it looks like it's going to be fun times. Oh, man, fun times indeed. Oh.
You're not following that Umbrella Guy. He has done an amazing job over the last 3 years on this case, bringing the info, making sure, and he's taken serious attacks from the likes of Eve Barlow and Amber's team.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, too, is, again, I would be very interested to see how this whole firing went down. Or, firing, or, the let go.
Was it a strategy? I don't know.
That I don't know, but also I would be very interested if, when I was in the courtroom the one day that I was, and you saw Elaine come out, and it was a couple of days after everyone was like, oh my God, was she, dissing Elaine, or was she doing that? And it was one of these things then she came out days later and she was just so nice. And it was like, okay, clearly that people are watching this behavior now. So I would be very interested to see, especially too after James from court, he said that he saw Elaine crying in the bathroom. And
right.
Was,
we heard that. Yeah.
You want to feel bad for her, but then at the same
human,
time, right. And she has to go on and defend her client. I get it, but this did not end well for her at all.
So, of course, Amber Heard fired her PR team midway through the trial. We reported on that. And, of course, she picked up some infamous liberal PR teams that we see work with the likes of Obama. And we've seen them be pretty effective. I think that they have managed to wage some effective strategies on Twitter with their legion of Twitter bots that they've got, right? And then they've got Elon simultaneously pulling this crap on Twitter about buying them, but exposing all the bots. So I don't know how that's working, because that is exposing Amber Heard's bots, right? If it really is what he's talking about. But, you know, we won't be privy to that information for a while, since it's going to be behind court doors. But this is some of the PR team, of course, Michelle Dunbar and David Shane. And then on the next slide, this is the one I really was shocked to see. And I had been hearing rumbles of this, you know, one of her PR team is a convicted offender against children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's out there. But these are the same women that are constantly screaming about, how dare you not protect women, believe women, but this is the type of PR that they're hiring.
Wow. And
hypocrisy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then you had, I believe, I'm trying to think, is this the same guy that also had like
allegations?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, allegations. Okay, so the same, because there was money laundering allegations, there was where he was stealing stuff, there was one where he was, oh gosh, like there was a ton of stuff that he did.
Yeah, I believe that's the same guy.
Okay, yeah. And way to get the best, Amber. Maybe that's, or maybe he was cheap and that's why you got him, because he's got all this stuff, you know?
Anybody who's willing to listen to her at this point, I think gets a spot. So yeah, this is one Elaine. Yeah, I brought this. I can't read it. Yeah, she allegedly asked staff to destroy evidence. That's what it was when she was in a Dynacorp theft suit. She was removed. That's right. They removed her. Just want to remind everybody. So everybody who's out there crying for Elaine, don't shed a tear for her. she's one on the bad side.
Who knows? She might be like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
This bitch. Be like, thank God it's over. But I see shades of Amber in Elaine, and the fact that she was willing to coddle some of her outlandish, you know, come on, any good attorney would say, at least admit to a few things so you don't look like you're trying to be perfect, right? How many times did we say, if she would just admit to some of the drug use, it would have made her look more believable? But she refused to even do that. Oh, I never, you know, like, she didn't own anything. And I think if Elaine was a decent human being, she would have told her to own a few things. Just my thought.
Absolutely. But as Tracy Fagan and over on my stream for the super chat, we can't have, this week I won't be able to have super chats pop up, but next week I promise I will. But from Tracy Fagan, she goes, now they're going after the real Laura, the real Amber Laura Heard.
That's right.
And yeah, there's a lot of new stuff coming to light that I think is pretty tasty.
Oh, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Yeah. So, well, let's see what Amber's been doing since the trial. So I brought just a little, you know, clip of her traveling the world. And, you know, she couldn't come up with that money that she pledged for sick children. But hey, she's been everywhere.
Lavish lifestyle into the spotlight after it was revealed that she'd been bankrupt. The photographs attached to the tweet show Amber having a good time with her pals as they're traveling to various new destinations such as Italy, Budapest, Paris, Tokyo, and so on. She was also seen enjoying the Cappadocia weather when going to Istanbul, Switzerland, and other locations in some of the images that were taken after. She was spotted having a Cubana ride. That's not what her photographs show at all. She was observed having a lot of fun by riding rides, eating fancy food, checking into hotels, drinking a lot of wine, and doing a lot more. This makes it abundantly evident that she incurred a significant financial burden. The tweet says, so here's the thing, Amber Heard's team is claiming that the reason she didn't honor her pledge of $3.5 million to sick children is because of the legal cost that Johnny, blame shifting, has put on her. So I thought we'd take a little trip down recent events, and you tell me, where'd the money go? The user also said, I'm no travel savant, but I'm pretty sure these trips aren't cheap. The user made yet another tweet, sharing some more pictures and tweeted that, I mean, when you're so wrapped up in legal costs, how can you take trips to all corners of the world? Do the sick children that you pledged for not cross your mind?
Yeah, so look at that. Just traveling the world. But yeah, do the sick children cross her mind? Come on, we know better.
Oh boy.
So have you seen all this last week with her over in Israel?
So the biggest thing that I heard, because like I said, I really try to distance myself from her.
Right. It's hard to
as
do when
much
she
as I
trends
can.
every day. Every single day, there's some hashtag associated with this case that trends.
And just like when you think you're like, okay, this is it, this is over,
it's
and then
over.
next thing you know, here she is again, and then Eve Barlow is a is a horrible person or whatever. Like the hashtag Eve Barlow is wrong or Amber Heard is wrong, and I'm just like, what happened today? Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
I thought they broke up. I remember hearing like this big, huge, oh, they broke up. This was like 3 weeks ago, right? Eve was making some emo posts about how she's not loved. And then apparently they made up because they were out traveling around. This is them this last week. And Amber has reportedly been spotted in Tel Aviv with her friend Eve Barlow. And of course, they went to a bookstore and they took pictures posing with the baby, even though nobody ever sees the baby and the stroller's empty. So there's some conspiracies about that. And Eve says, imagine being a credible voice and having huge platforms and using it to make fun of our victim or our survivors. Sorry, Bill Maher, I really don't get it. So she attacks Bill Maher. And of course, they want Bill Maher replaced with Jon Stewart. So that's the new campaign.
Oh, God.
Do you remember this? The court. All right, Ms. Brederhoff. Thank you, Your Honor. I actually had no clue that this was going to raise this morning. I am responding it to it cold. First of all, Eve Barlow is not a journalist. Second of all, she is not Miss Heard's girlfriend, is what she was going to say. And they kicked Eve Barlow out of the court, if you guys.
Oh, geez. Well, and not even that. I mean, let's be real. Like, she calls herself a journalist, but she also has in her Twitter header Zionist. And that's kind of a bias. And I'm not saying that journalists out there are never going to have a bias or they're not ever going to, eventually grow to have a bias, but you don't like put it on your profile. Usually keep that hush hush. But Eve Barlow has proven that she is pretty bold and she will say anything. Pretty much whatever the hell damn well she pleases. I think
she
like
does.
In these next tweets. Yeah. In these next tweets.
Right. This woman gives my heritage a bad name and I don't know how to address it. It makes me mad. Like, not all of us feel this way. So anyways, due to the jihad not accepting the ceasefire, Woot is inundated with orders and it's taking an hour to get my sushi delivered. This is why we need a two-state solution because she can't get her sushi fast enough. And I was in a bomb shelter trying to cheer myself up. Thanks. And Pakistani children were not slaughtered. That's blood libel. Pakistani casualties result from rockets landing back in the occupied territories after being deflected by the Iron Dome, which happens, unfortunately. Yeah, children died, but it's their own fault for launching those missiles. Oh, Palestinian, yeah. What did I say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Palestinian. So, yeah, Eve, she never shuts up. I'm sorry for all those haters who have never experienced what it's like to be in Israel. Even if you're not Jewish, there's something about it that's filled with acceptance and allows you to be exactly who you are, where you are. And you won't know until you go and live it yourself. Are you effing kidding me? Filled with acceptance so you can be who you are. That's how she's describing Israel right now.
And again, there are two sides to every story, and no matter what you tell her, she's one of those folks where she will think that she's right. So it's like, why even try? You know?
I got a question. If she's in a bomb shelter and she's tweeting, how is she tweeting? I would think there would be no service if she was in a bomb shelter, for real. Just saying.
It looks like on that one we have more questions than answers.
Yeah, I don't know. And really, my sushi's taking an hour. The mentality of that is just so privileged, so elitist.
Don't worry. There's only Gaza and like the whole part of Palestine that are living like in an open air prison who have probably never even heard of sushi, but you can bitch about how you haven't gotten yours yet.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Give me a break. You know, God.
Terrible. So this next one, let's see. Who do you think is telling the truth? This is Team Amber Heard. Who is Team Amber Heard? It must be one of those bot accounts we were talking about, but look at this. 90% believe Johnny.
Oops. That backfired.
Totally backfired. So,
and it seems like that's happening a lot more and more lately, even with more and more information that's coming forward. Yeah, it's hilarious, I think. Very hilarious.
That is hilarious. So things we've learned from the unsealing of the 6,600 court docs. Now there's so much, and there's so many great YouTubers out there breaking these down, taking the time to go through them, read them, do videos on them. So, I've watched quite a few. Corgi-san is doing an amazing job of breaking these down. If you haven't watched her, please check her channel out. She's got a little corgi. That's why she's Corgi-san. But she just sits there and reads through these, and it's hilarious. She's done a great job. But some of the crazy things, the fighting before court, before the things that were leading up to this, like, Johnny's team, Amber's team wanted Johnny to have a mental health eval. So reading the back and forth between the attorneys and the judges on that, and how Johnny's team shut him down. Johnny wanted this broadcast live to the world. Amber's team didn't. Reading the back and forth on that, and how Johnny's team won that one. It's really insightful to see how these attorneys really approach trying to shut down her lies. So we're getting more deposition videos too. So we've had a few more deposition videos. And this one, I just grabbed a screenshot out of it because I thought it was so hilarious. It's like a 20-minute back and forth from Amber. And you remember she got caught in so many lies during that deposition. But this one is how big she's describing her dogs.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, well, we know she's not describing Johnny.
Yes.
But
the lady's like, well, how big is your dog? And she's like, well, it's a square. I don't know. It's a square. She keeps calling her dog a square. Like, I don't know, a square. Because she's trying to make it look like the dog could have defecated on the bed is what she's trying to cover up.
Exactly. And that's where it's like, no, the square, you're doing the size of your ass, honey. Like, that's not your dog. That's the size of your ass. Yeah. But not even that. The part that always kind of got me in these depositions was she literally, and I get that it was almost 6 years ago now at this point, but people don't have these major, well, I guess some people can, but she, from how she looked then to now, changed so drastically.
It's those cheek implants.
It's I don't know if it's even that. She has put on a little bit of weight because here she does look very, very skinny.
Well, we all put on weight as we get older. We fill out in the face more, I think.
Well, and this though also was kind of the height of her coke addiction.
Right.
But let's be honest.
You didn't like it.
The way that she looks now, you're just like, that's not the same person. That can't be. But I don't know. We'll see. Your guess is as good as mine. But
so are you alleging body snatching?
Who's to say at this point? The things that she's done already, or that you're about to learn too.
Let's talk about it. So this is the big story that broke a week and a half ago. Amber Heard organized X parties with ample amounts of MDMA and alcohol and intercourse, blackmailed Elon Musk into paying her fees for a defamation trial against Johnny Depp, allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. These were the headlines. And at the same time, a Substack user named Jessica Reed Krause decided she was going to drop the deets on Amber Heard, and she brought the receipts to back it up. And we're talking pictures, and it got deep. And if you really want to go watch it, I would say Popcorn Planet did a great job of breaking it down. There's quite a few out there, and I brought you guys just a little clip. But it turns out Amber Heard, she was doing exactly what we know Elaine and Jeffrey were doing, but she was doing it on the Hollywood version, and she was doing it with these eccentric billionaires. And I brought just a little description of it, and then I'll show you some pictures that were released. So we'll go ahead and watch this.
Oh boy.
Video.
The stuff about the fact that she was basically getting him effed up. She was effing him up with, substances or whatever. As sort of, I got you now type of attitude. Here it is. I'm trying to find it. She would put these people in these compromising situations, and these videos were really important people. Here it is. Rumor's always been she has some dark stuff on him, and that's why he's indebted. It's not surprising to anyone who knows her. Amber was always filming him. She had a method. She had it down. She would get Elon really effed up so incriminating events could transpire and then film it all. The reprehensible amount of damage she has done to so many people. There's also not a doubt in my mind that she has so much S on all of Elon's friends and other men that worked with him. I mean, I saw her take photos of these parties, people in power that have families and corporations, charities, etc., that would get in serious trouble. She's the blackmail queen. Now, look, we should be clear. F these people who are doing shitty stuff behind the scenes. Like, I'm not rooting for them. I'm not rooting for them by any stretch of the imagination. And some people could say, well, Amber's doing good, right? She's exposing and using these men who are being debaucherous. What's the harm? But I don't know. Blackmail? That's gross. That's gross. And to me, they're all debaucherous. They're all going to be exposed. And what the trouble here is, because she's apparently got all this dirt, like Maxwell, like it's a very now the parallels are connecting. That's why people are protecting her. That's why the truth's not coming.
People are protecting her, and the truth is out there, and it's starting to trickle out just like it did with J.E. and Maxwell. And what do you think, Faran? What do you think when the story broke?
The fact that she did this, I mean, clearly she thought she was going to get something out of this. I mean, let's just be real. It's Hollywood. Many people do this to this extent. Who's to say? I haven't been to Hollywood or been involved in these circles, so right. Your guess is as good as mine. But I have seen Eyes Wide Shut, and that's kind of what I would imagine it to be like.
Me too.
To be like, oh, like I wonder if it's like that, like where they all wear like these weird, animal heads or whatever. But I do think it's really telling of the kind of person that she is, that she held this stuff over people's heads, especially a guy like Elon. To get her way. I think there was stuff with Johnny. I think there was stuff with a number of these people that she has dated. I mean, even who was the one where it was the recording where he was like, you were with Elliot Spitzer. And she's like, well, you were with Michelle. And you're like, wait a minute. The Elliot Spitzer, the guy that got busted by Roger Stone for banging a prostitute that didn't take his socks off.
Yeah, that's right.
That Elliot Spitzer, folks, if you Google him, he is nothing to write home about.
Yeah, no.
And you're like, wow, this girl really gets around. Just, from East Coast to West Coast, she's there, baby. And
yeah, she's a jet setter for sure. Well, and so were the Epsteins, right? I just showed you all the places that she's been around the world, and yeah, I mean, there's that trafficking word that's been thrown around a lot, and grooming of other women in their little clique that she's got going on. And this next picture, these are some of the pictures that were released with this information. And this up here in the corner is Amber with her 17-year-old assistant, and they're all topless. And the other one, oh yeah. Aren't they pretty? And of course, don't let us forget Elon was hanging out with Maxwell right around, in the late 2010s or,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the connections were there, because let us not forget that she met Elon while she was married to Johnny early on. And she was enamored with billionaires. She was absolutely, I mean, from everything that I have seen from 2013 on, she was hell-bent. She was going to get herself a millionaire. And I brought just a little excerpt from the Substack because I wanted to explain to people, I wanted to describe what they were saying. So it says, picture her. Okay, so picture her basically the fantasy. A celebrity told me over the phone recounting that he had seen a series of photos taken at one of these events, a bunch of hot young girls rubbing all over each other in satanic style leather outfits on stage. Amber on the throne like a chair at the center, legs spread, with the perfect porn star keyword kitty display performing sex acts on a room full of men watching below. So, and this is one of the photos. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because, yeah, it's pretty steamy. But you could actually picture it. And, you know, Cornell Courts, she did a really great interview with somebody that she normally brings on her channel that has participated in the Hollywood sex party scene. And he laid the scene out for you. He describes what it's like to work one of those parties, what those parties are like. He says those parties are going on all week in Hollywood. There's like 3 a freaking week. And it's been going on since the damn 20s. And we know that. We've all known that. I mean, if you've studied old Hollywood, the silver screen at all, this stuff's been going on for 100 years. No problem.
Wasn't one of them when you hear the story Black Dahlia? Isn't that
Black Dahlia? Okay. Vivian Lee. Oh my gosh, the stuff they did to Scarlett. You know, I mean, the stories are out there. You just got to read some of these old silver screen autobiographies. You know, I was obsessed with them for a while. So like Ava Gardner, those types, they were a commodity. They were, you know, you're going to go work this circuit. You're going to go work this party for, you know, the head of this studio or for, you know, this entertainment mogul. And it's still going on. We know that with, you know, Harvey Weinstein. I mean, I wonder what Harvey was.
Well, here's my question, okay? And just bear with me. Walk with me. Shut the door.
Okay. Shut the door.
Okay, imagine like, okay, so like right now, like these parties would be like pretty weird. Like you've got like strobe lights that have been invented. You have fog machines that have been invented. Like lots of new stuff that have been invented since like the Roaring 20s. I wonder how they were in the Roaring 20s. Like if it was like that
Think Gatsby. That's the way I look at it. Okay. Like Great Gatsby, the big mansions and the money and the pretty young girls. You know, I don't think it's changed much. Maybe the music and the lighting's changed, but the concept's still the same, right? They consume you, eat you up, and use you in Hollywood. And this person that wrote the Substack was one of those girls. She got, you know, kind of sucked into the whole Amber track beam, and she had to break free of it. And you know, she told her story, and I believe it. I absolutely believe it when you know all the other stuff about Hollywood. So remember, this was speculation during the trial about her and Cara Delevingne, and then of course Popcorn Planet actually got their hands on some more infamous elevator videos. Remember, we brought you the ones of her like kissing and making out with who was it, Franco, and then Elon. Yes. I mean, the list goes on, and now, well, here you go. Now here's her making out with Cara Delevingne.
Just making the rounds.
Yeah. I know it's late. Everybody's
here
tired.
We go.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Oh, look at that. Yes. Wow. So you see it right there. Like the camera's kind of juttering a little bit. So it looks like someone's filming the monitor with the phone. You see that corner there as well. It seems to appear that it's Amber Heard and none other, allegedly, of course, all of this is alleged, Cara Delevingne, the model, currently starring in Only Murders in the Building, having a bit of a smoochy fest, allegedly, together. Now,
Steph the Ultra Nerd.
Allegedly.
Yeah, Steph the Ultra Nerd's hilarious. So there you go. Andy actually got his hand on that video, and it was recorded, and I think I know who actually recorded it. Somebody that lives in the building went up to security, and they played the tape, and they recorded it. That's how it got leaked. But, you know, more and more, how do these people still defend her to this day with everything that we've seen and reported? And I just don't understand how there's the cognitive dissonance and the disconnect is so deep with these people.
And not even that, just you really do see there is just such a lack of like empathy or like just humanity. I mean, it's just this fast life, you know, don't even stop to like realize what you're doing. They're drugged out all the time. It's very sad. And my mother would kill me. My mother would kill me.
Yeah, right.
That's all I can say. I would be dead. Oh.
So
what do we have here?
What's coming? Oh, so this is more of the Amber stands. Like, remember when they misled the entire internet into believing that Amber Heard used their product? This is Milani, right? And of course, Milani came out and said, no, that didn't even come out. So that's still going on. They're still trying to impact that product and that brand because they stood with Johnny. And we're seeing some pushback about where's Amber Heard's future? Is it in acting? So this next slide is L'Oreal, of course. They had the contract that they had her in, but they paid her, but they're not having her work because she gets booed every time she gets on stage. So there's rumors that contract has been canceled, or is L'Oreal doubling down? And then, of course, the infamous the studio Aquaman 2, did they cut her down to 2 minutes? Because that's what we're hearing rumors of. So it's just like
really, I haven't heard that, but again, I barely pay attention to her anymore.
Right.
But wow.
Yeah, they cut her out of the whole movie down to 2 minutes, and now they're contemplating even cutting that 2 minutes and maybe recasting. And I keep tweeting at them, recast it. We'll wait another year for you to refilm the scenes because I will not watch it if Amber Heard's in it. Period. And I think a lot of people feel that way. We saw almost 5 million sign the petition during the trial. So yeah, wake up studios. You got a loser.
Well, not even that. I think that I'm not gonna lie. I tried to watch the first one. The acting was so bad from her
so
that I was
bad.
like, I don't even want to see the second one.
It's
like,
so bad.
It wasn't great at all, really. He was good. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa was good. And I'm not saying he's a great actor either, but he at least made it a little believable. Every single line out of Amber's mouth, I know she's pretending to act. That's the opposite of a good actor. So yeah, let's just go ahead and play this little clip here, and then we're moving on.
It's now well known factually that Amber Heard is a regular drug user herself. Johnny's life since their divorce has resulted in his life being plagued with false accusations, manipulation of the public by sharing of these false, exaggerated, and damaging claims. The fans started off. L'Oreal should have the integrity to accept that they have a duty of care and responsibility for their customers who they allow, via their brands, to be a potential influence to the public. With that, they should acknowledge that having Amber Heard, an avid drug user, as the face of their brand is hugely irresponsible. Keeping her as their face to the public technically promotes that their actions are okay, which they are not. While the company did not respond to the petitions or claims, it was clear they were reading the news, as they stopped using her image in worldwide campaigns and they did not invite her to in-person events. We do not know the specifics of their contract, but it's clear they didn't end it for the sake of waiting for the verdict to trope. However, losing the L'Oreal contract would be the end for Amber. It is her last big source of income, and with a $10 million debt to her husband, it's clear she needs all the work she can get.
Get all the work she can get. I don't know. I think that she has got some good dirt on some people, and this is why she is being protected like the way she has been. It absolutely explains the level of protection that we saw for Amber Heard.
Yeah, and not even that. The fact that it was all diabolically done, I think, and the fact that she knew I need to, just kind of constantly be fixing to like make sure that I have something on everybody that I come in contact with that might have something on me just in case.
Yeah, no, you're right. God, can
Very
you imagine
diabolical.
being in a world like that where they act like your friends and they're trying to get stuff on you so they can blackmail you at all times? My God.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. So Johnny Depp, he's taking it in strides. Of course, you know, he's been around the world touring with Jeff Beck, and the crowds love him, and the people love him, and Dior loves him, and now he's filming a movie where he's playing, what, Louis the 16th, I believe, or is it the 14th? I think he's playing Louis the 14th. Maybe it's Louis the 15th. It's one of those three. I know that. So
yeah, Louis the 16th, maybe.
He's just moving on with it, but the appeal is filed, and this isn't over yet.
It ain't over, baby. It ain't over. A big thank you also to Tracy Fagan. Jason Momoa is shirtless. I'm good.
Oh my gosh, right? Thank you, A-Rim, for the Super Ray over on the Rockfin. Oh, Jenna, funny stuff. Thank you.
So here we go, folks. So we're going to talk about this trial.
I don't know anything about this other than just like the few headlines I read. So tell me all about it.
Folks, this is really one for the books. So you guys might have heard the case of the OnlyFans model who killed her boyfriend. We're going to go into this and the details of this trial and what all went down, because there's a lot, even for the internet. So let's go ahead. This is just a good summation of kind of the A to Z of it, and then we'll kind of break it down. But just to get your palate wet here.
Courtney Taylor Clenny.
And Miss Clenny, how old are you?
I'm 26.
This morning, social media personality and OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny, also known as Courtney Taylor, has made her first court appearance in Hawaii after being charged in the murder of her boyfriend. Investigators releasing this video from earlier this year. They say it shows Clenny repeatedly punching boyfriend Christian Ubumseli inside a private elevator in their Miami high-rise. Prosecutors say weeks later in April, Clenny stabbed Ubumseli to death and then called 911.
On that 911 call, Christian can be heard in the background repeatedly saying that he was dying and he was losing feeling in his arm. Defendant Clenny is also heard saying, "I'm so sorry, baby."
The arrest warrant revealing a tumultuous relationship between the social media influencer who has millions of followers and her cryptocurrency investor boyfriend, with domestic violence accusations on both sides. Authorities say the staff at the couple's building documented so many loud arguments, they were taking steps to evict them. As for the second-degree murder charge she now faces, Clenny insists it was self-defense, saying she threw a knife from a distance after Ubumseli shoved her against the wall by the neck and threw her to the ground. But prosecutors don't buy her story.
The police observed no visible injuries, which would have corroborated her account, and she had no injuries.
Clenny has waived her right to an extradition from Hawaii, meaning she'll now return to Florida to fight the murder charge.
I'm confused.
Okay.
It happened in Florida and she ran to Hawaii? Why do they always run to
Yes.
Hawaii? Daybell case, I'm just saying.
Apparently, there's a very good rehab down there, but we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
So here she is, Courtney Clenny. You will see here that she is an Instagram and social media influencer and fitness model, 26 years old, grew up in Austin, Texas. Recently, she got 2 DUIs and spent 3 days in jail. When she was pulled over, one of the times her second time, her blood alcohol level was at 0.3, which is 3 times the legal limit.
That's high.
And-
That's somebody who drinks every day. I can tell you that because I used to be that person.
And her case is still pending.
Wow.
So she has over 2 million followers on Instagram. You can see here. Below, at the very, very top is her Instagram. Or here, I'll use this hand. That's the Instagram. Yeah. This page is not available. OnlyFans, they're not sure whether she removed her OnlyFans or OnlyFans removed her page, but she removed herself, or her page has been removed from OnlyFans, which was where she made a significant portion of her money And again, having over 2 million followers, people knew her, especially like your little Gen Zers and all that. It was very, very popular in the social media world. So let's take a look at her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's name was Christian Obumseli, only a year older than her, actually born a year or 2 years before. And then her birthday was April 21st. He's the 26th. Both grew up in Texas, but he was in Plano. She was in Austin. Went to Texas Tech, and he is the owner of this company you see here, but basically he's in crypto. Since this murder went down, you'll see there have been a lot of things from their past have come out. Like, for example, you saw with Courtney, you saw her DUIs come forward, where, that's always the first thing, because again, you're getting arrested.
What's your criminal record? Yeah.
Right. With Christian, though, it's been a little bit more harder to find like dirt on him per se, or, it's hard for internet sleuths to find stuff on him. One of the things that has kind of come into play when it's involved in this case is race. Obviously, you can see it yourself. They are a biracial couple. And one of the things that came out that many people were, I wouldn't say not that they weren't too happy about it, but people pointed it out and just thought it was very, especially the Black community was like, oh, look at this, like, look what happened. So it was after his murder, it said tweets have emerged in Obumseli's name in which he denigrates Black women. He had more than 20,000 tweets on his page, and the controversial tweets are old. So you see there's this Tariq Nasheed. Was his tweet, and then he linked it to the picture on the right that are Christian's tweets. But he says on the left, a Nigerian man named Christian Obumseli spent years dissing foundational Black Americans on social media. He really showed disdain for Black women and expressing his love and desire for white women. Well, you know the old saying, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You can see some of his tweets on the side are like full of ignorant Black women, the way Black girls disgrace themselves on TV. Once again, I'm tired of these Black girls in my government class. A lot of this stuff, I think, was college, and maybe he thought he was being funny or what have you. But these are those tweets that have emerged from 2012. So it's one of those like, okay, everybody's going to have something. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But so now this video, the biggest thing with their relationship that everyone was asking is, they met in 2020. And the whole thing was, oh, they were so in love. They were so great. They were so this, they were so that. And as friends started coming forward when, a lot of the friends thought he was going to make it. He was going to be able to survive this stab wound. And obviously he didn't. And then friends started trickling out being like, well, I did see this and I did see that. And turns out they eventually came forward and said the relationship was extremely toxic. So here is his cousin talking. And this guy does a really good deep dive into the case as well. And I have like kind of snippets from the whole thing, but here is about the toxic relationship.
27-year-old Christian Obumseli, who's affectionately known by his family as Toby, and 25-year-old Courtney Taylor, whose real name is Courtney Clenny, they had a relationship that friends say was toxic and abusive. One friend even saying that it was Clenny that was the violent one in their relationship. But now Clenny's attorney is painting a different picture, saying that when she stabbed Obumseli at an apartment in early April, it was self-defense.
Because this doesn't only affect him, but it affects everybody.
Jessica Wabuko says that her cousin's death has devastated her family.
Like, you never really cherish those moments until the person is gone. It breaks my heart that he didn't even make it from a senseless murder.
What do you know about the relationship between Courtney and Christian?
I spoke to one of his friends, and his friends were saying that they do have a history of domestic violence, but he never put his hands on her. He was never the starter of their arguments, that she is a very toxic person. And I believe it.
Sunday, April 3rd, 2021, just before 5 p.m., Miami police say that Christian Obumseli suffered an apparent knife wound and later died after he and a, quote, female had been involved in a physical altercation. That female was, quote, located on scene and interviewed by detectives, yet she was not named in the initial reports. But in a video obtained by TMZ, a woman who appears to be Courtney Clenny is sitting on the apartment floor covered in blood after police were called to that scene. Courtney allegedly told investigators that Christian gained access to her apartment without permission, even though her friends say the couple shared that apartment. She was
Wow. So she was like, he broke in here and I had to defend myself. So the cops were like, oh, poor little blonde girl. Yeah, okay. And then the prosecuting attorney looked at it and went, no way, come on now.
So that was the initial claim, was that he broke in and he didn't live there. But again, we'll get to it because the story keeps unraveling. And again, if it were not for the 2 million followers that were seeing all of this and watching what happened, and you'll just it unfolds beautifully against this alleged murderer. But okay, so here is the two of them here. Here's some quotes from some of their friends. Their one friend, Ashley, we've seen her hit him. I've never seen him hit her. Then you also have a neighbor told the station that he saw Obumseli striking Clenny a week before the stabbing. So there are claims that both of them were very violent towards each other. However, all of the claims say that she was more violent than he was.
Well, now that's the same exact thing that we heard with Johnny Depp, right? Oh, it was mutual combat, but it was always initiated by Amber. And it was always defensive moves. And we just saw the elevator clip. I didn't see that guy retaliating or swinging on her. He was strong arm, trying to keep her away, you know, stop. He's trying to block her blows. That's what I saw. So, yeah, wow.
Well, you only saw a clip of it. We're going to see the clip in its entirety here.
Oh.
And you see where she comes in the elevator. Now, they say this is that same week. Now, before we get to the clip, before we play it, it's very important to note that she, oh gosh, what's her name? Courtney, sorry. She was previously arrested for domestic battery in Las Vegas, and police were actually called to the couple's home in Austin, Texas. They lived together in Austin, Texas on several occasions. The pair then moved to Miami at the beginning of this year, and staff and residents at the One Paricio building in downtown Miami reported multiple domestic disturbances. They were getting so many calls either from neighbors or from the building itself that they were here very ready and willing to give up this videotape that they saw, and even were getting ready to just bring it to the police on their own before police even asked to see, you know, any tapes or what have you. This you'll see doesn't say if she's drunk or not. This is not the same day that this happened, because you'll see, I believe she is wearing, I think when we play it, and we can play because there's no sound, so you can keep our mics hot, Oz, but you'll see that she comes in the elevator and the keypad is digital. And you can see that it's not going. Now this is, I believe,
that's the same outfit from when she's being arrested, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you see, I don't know if this is going up or down, but something happened here. And you see that you can see puts her in a headlock to stop her and tries to back up against her to get her to stop. All you really kind of see her is just punching, grabbing, throwing, nothing too crazy, and him just continuously trying to push her away. But you can see how the initiator was her, constantly pushing her away, and you could see where maybe at some point it could get extremely violent, to where if he pushes her away and she happened to maybe hit her head or something. But you could see instigator, initiator, and keeping it going, which is not good. So here is the whole timeline of what police say went down, and they look at it via her phone records. And they've also kind of pieced together between his, where the, whatchamacallit, the coroner can see, like, how these coroners can actually go down to the minute when these people were stabbed or what have you.
Right. They got body temperature, so they can tell the
exactly.
time of death.
So they have it. So authorities believe that Clenny stabbed Ombuseli between 4:33 p.m., as you can see there in yellow, when he arrived home with sandwiches, and at 4:57 when she called 911. So about 20 minutes, 4:33 to 4:57, somewhere in there, they believe he was stabbed. They added that Clenny had been on the phone with her mother at the time of the stabbing. Her mother told authorities she heard the couple arguing while she was talking with her daughter. About 10 minutes before Clenny called 911, building management called police, alerting them to a disturbance in Clenny and Ombuseli's unit. During Clenny's 911 call, Fernandez Rundle said Ombuseli could be heard in the background repeatedly saying he was dying and that he was losing feeling in his arm. Clenny could be heard saying, "I'm so sorry, baby."
How many wounds did he have? Was this just one wound and she landed it right and caught an artery?
For what they're showing right now, or from what they've described, it was one lethal stab wound from what they've said. They've been trying to figure out if it was thrown, if it was stabbed, not sure, but it was a big ass kitchen knife.
Big.
Yeah. And again, police, when they arrived at the scene, they kind of didn't understand because, again, she kept saying, I did this in self-defense, because she was saying that he grabbed her by the throat and had her up against the wall, and to protect herself, she stabbed him in the arm so he would relieve his arm off of her. That was her story. Let's get to this next one, because this is the part where the story severely changed, because you had that elevator video come out. You had other videos on social media from people that lived in the building. I mean, here's the one thing. I love internet sleuths. And these people.
I know. They do the best
these people
research.
in this building, they heard somebody died and they're like, okay, let's piece this shit together, baby. There was actual video of the two of them out, like if you were looking down from your balcony, of them walking and her pushing him and hitting him and him trying to push her away again. So you have random, person living in the balcony that sees them. Then this elevator video comes out. People start piecing it together. Meanwhile, she's posting online still. And it turns out that people start catching on, and she's spotted in a hotel days after her boyfriend is allegedly murdered. Here was the altercation and kind of what happened in the days following her boyfriend's murder.
Was never arrested. Instead, she was taken in for mental treatment under Florida's Baker's Act, which allows police officers to send people to a mental health treatment center for up to 72 hours. By Friday, April 8th, the story had created a social media frenzy. Clenny was reportedly caught on camera at a bar with her father at Miami's Grand Beach Hotel by a hotel guest.
I'll videotape her. Right now, you should go. Yeah, you should go. Because you just killed your boyfriend. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
The guest that was recording tagged Miami police on Instagram and wrote, quote, "Does this look like a mentally unstable person to you, as she claims?" At a press conference, the Ogbumseli family, with their attorney, expressing their grief.
We finally told our 93-year-old grandmother that her grandson, who was expected to come home to Texas to visit for his 28th birthday, will no longer or ever be returning home.
I do believe she is the killer, and she does need to be arrested.
Clenny, who boasts 2 million followers on Instagram, continued to generate content on her OnlyFans page up until April 4th, which was one day after Ogbumseli's death. It is unclear if the post was pre-scheduled.
Wow. So
Yeah.
she just went on with her life, go back to my OnlyFans, make some money, and yeah, pretend like I was the victim.
Yep. And the other part too is, like they say, they don't know if that post was pre-planned or
Could have
if,
been, right?
you know, it very well could have been. But the other part too that's so interesting in all of this is, again, the fact that social media immediately picked it up and people started asking questions. And then the fact that she was spotted, that was like, whoa, whoa. Now, this next one also adds more to it. Again, how, remember I told you that race played into it with him, or they were saying, well, you know, he was with white girls or whatever.
Right. He had an attraction. Yeah.
She apparently liked to go on these podcasts down in Miami. They have a lot of these podcasts where they're like super broy podcast, and excuse me, and then the girls sit there in like bikinis and bra tops or whatever, and they talk about dating or what have you. And here she is talking about who she likes. So let's take a look at this one.
Okay. No sound.
Couples, the subject of race has become a part of the public's conversation about this case, with a past podcast interview from Clenny and an old social media post from Obumseli. Many people are questioning this entire situation.
You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys. Especially black guys. Especially black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich black guys.
Rich.
Wow.
So they're saying, you know, that clearly, you know, there was something going on here. They're in Miami. You know, everybody's walking around in swimsuits. It's probably very easy to have a wandering eye, what have you.
Okay.
But either way, it was very, very toxic and very, very a tumultuous relationship. Really quick, just want to say thank you to Baldo. Farron 2 posts on the 4th. I have receipts if needed.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for bringing that report, because honestly, I've been so busy. I haven't even had time to even hear about this case. I saw the video on Twitter, of course, as I was scrolling, but I knew I didn't have time to look into it. So the question is, you know, where does she go from here? So she's been charged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is she
Well,
out on bail? Where is she at?
Well, here was the thing, is that all of a sudden it got so big, this case, and the fact that she was, you know, people were like, oh my God, you murdered your boyfriend. Because the details didn't add up. Even my own brother, my youngest brother came to me and he's like, have you seen this with this OnlyFans model where she killed her boyfriend? I'm like, how do you know she killed the boyfriend? He's like, oh, because I mean, they all kind of were able to figure it out.
Right.
Here, she flees down to Hawaii. And here you can see it says OnlyFans star who was arrested in Hawaii at a rehab clinic where she was seeking help for substance abuse and PTSD in Lapahoho. How fitting. On August 10th, 2022. Clenny allegedly stabbed Obumseli to death at their luxury apartment in Edgewater, Miami, April 3rd. She was arrested after cops found her coated in blood on her balcony, but was later released because they believe she had acted in self-defense. Well, public pressure, a lot of other stuff. She has now been charged with second-degree murder following the latest arrest in Hawaii and is waiting extradition to Miami. And she did not fight that, so she will be sent back.
Right.
Her lawyers are saying that they are going to fight this charge, that she did act in self-defense. As far as who they're going to have for witnesses, I'm sure definitely that person up that got the shot
the
down
video,
from the balcony. You know, the
superintendent of the building, probably,
right.
with friends, family that knew of. You know, this is really sad, though. You know, this is somebody yet again who had no control of their emotions. It sounds like there was substances involved, especially if she had a blood alcohol of that high. That's somebody who drinks on a daily basis, to be able to walk around with that kind of blood alcohol level and function, right, and not be in a ER or have alcohol poisoning. So I find it very sad. But will the Instagram model, will she go to prison?
Oh, I think so.
think
And
so too.
this story, I think, brings about a really, really good question for, I'm trying to think how to say this in the most diplomatic way. Women, like we know, like we know that men, do not hit women. And this is like one of those cases where, and I've seen it with my girlfriends that were in toxic relationships where they start to get physical with their boyfriends and what
Mutual
have you.
combat. I've done it myself, and yeah.
And but women though feel there are women that get into stuff like this sometimes when they're the aggressor. They don't think that they're gonna get hit back, or that nothing can happen, and they
Not supposed to hit
keep
girls.
pushing it, right? And I see, like with men, where you see in his case he kept pushing her away, and it also because you always hear with women where they say if a guy hits you once, he'll do it again. You need to leave him then.
Yep.
With men, I think this is one of those cases now too, where if a woman were to do this kind of stuff to you, is it the same thing? Because the outcome could be very much the same in domestic violence disputes when the man is the aggressor. Now, clearly, let's just be real. Statistics show that men are far more aggressive than women. We know that. But I'm just saying, in cases where women are the aggressor, I think it's going to make men think, you know what, she did that once. Like, look at that story. I don't want to chance it, or who knows what's going to happen.
Right. I grew up in a domestic violence home. So I watched my mother and my father mutually combat. And as a child, of course, dad was always stronger than mom, right? But there was quite a few times that my mom got major licks on my dad, whether it be a frying pan upside the head or, and then as I got older and I got into my own domestic violence relationships, because once you only know that, that's what you know. I remember I was down south and my ex put me in the hospital. He split my head open. I had to have a couple of layers of stitches, fighting over something stupid, money, bills, right? And I came out of there and I was by myself. I was like 20 years old. I was living down south in the deep bayou. I had kids. I didn't have any family because, of course, it was my partner's family that we were down there with. And this old Southern lady said, honey, you gonna put up with that shit? The next time that man comes at you, you grab whatever you can get your freaking hands on and you knock him the hell out. And I had never fought back in all my years of bad relationships up until after that. And then something in me snapped when she told me that, she's like, I don't know why you don't fight back. And so I did start fighting back. But what I found was, of course, then I was the aggressor. I was the abuser. I was just as equally responsible for the situation after I took on that type of mentality. And it took me many years to realize where that mentality had put me and that I was responsible, that I was being an abuser, that I was hitting too. And I think that in the 80s and 90s, especially with OJ, that's when we really started to talk about domestic violence and assault on partners. And it was for women, right? Because we didn't talk about it in the 80s. We swept that shit under the rug. You didn't talk about it. There might be a couple of after school Sunday specials or something about it, but it wasn't on the forefront. People were not even, that family had a problem and you don't talk about it, and you don't air your dirty laundry out in public. You don't talk about your family. And that's the way we dealt with it. So then we evolved as a society, right? And we had OJ. So now we started more legislation, more protection for victims. But I think we're at a really pivotal moment right now, especially with the death case and now cases like this, where we are waking up as a society and realizing that women can be just as dangerous and perpetuate just as much violence on men. Just because they don't have the same upper body strength, they're definitely capable of committing death. And I think that we are waking up as a society about that,
Yeah, and I think, maybe the Johnny Depp trial was the one that kind of cracked the can open. Yeah. But, then you have a case like this. And what I did find interesting was that you had a big rallying cry saying she needs to be arrested. Why is she not arrested?
That's the public,
especially on the heels of the Johnny Depp trial. I thought this was going to go the opposite way. And it was self-defense. He's this big black guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this poor little white girl. And his family even came forward and said that the reason why they believe she wasn't arrested beforehand was because it was little white girl privilege. And it was just, the tears and
and it depends on what cop you get. Because I'll tell you what, one time I did get picked up, and it wasn't because it was because there was a no contact order and I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the cop that was taking me in, I was so mad. I was like, why are you arresting me? What could I ever do to that man that he couldn't do to me 10 billion times over? And she turned around and she looked at me and she said, you are a pretty big girl and you are capable of taking another human's life. And it really shocked me to have somebody say that to me. I was like, I would never but still, that's, wow. I see a huge change in the public getting involved like that. That's scary, because just think about any situation the internet sleuths want to get on. And we, the people, have that kind of pressure. When we could use that to our advantage in so many different places, but we don't. Public pressure, right?
Right. And I think, again, too, what really gave it away to folks is they heard of his death and she had posted like nothing and life just kept going.
She's out in a bar with her dad. Like, what?
And people just look at it like, I mean, it almost kind of was like when you see, for example, like, Scott Peterson, when Lucy went missing and all of a sudden, everyone was like, oh, he was fine. He was happy. Or not that he was fine or he's happy, but he was just not himself,
He was over it. Yeah.
Right. And even though there is that whole case now where they are trying to get him off of death row and saying that he is innocent, and they have DNA testing and all this other stuff.
That guy is the worst. That guy is the worst. Yeah. But there's so many that have taught us, right? The ones that go and marry like somebody a week after killing their wife, like Peterson, Drew Peterson.
Yeah, it's like, you don't think that that's like a red flag at all, But yeah, exactly. So it was the fact that she had been posting and that people started catching on. And then somebody sees her and then they tag her, and it's just the power of social media.
Nowhere to hide in this world that we live in.
Especially when you got 2 million followers, honey. Oh,
they're watching.
Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide.
What's W7 doing? I missed that. I'll have to catch it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so
crazy story.
It'll be interesting, and when her trial starts, again, it's going to be interesting. Florida, they do have cameras in the courtroom. So I believe this trial will be on camera. And, right now we've even been seeing the Parkland shooting trial. They've had that streaming. It's going to be interesting because you also have her legal defense team is going to have a really hard time. The fact that she has they could probably get away with the two DUIs and saying, oh, it's substance abuse. And that's where, she would get physical and she would black out and not remember. But the fact that she's got 2 priors of DV and, that's a report.
Well,
and
is there any evidence of alcohol in her system that day? Was she possibly in a blackout when this happened? I mean, 4:45 in the afternoon. I know I've been that day drunk before, but
they have not said. They just said that she was released. But again,
I would want to know. I would want to know what her state of mind was when she was arrested. Was there alcohol on board? Was there drugs? That type of.
The part that's very interesting, though, is the fact that here she's sitting there in a white tank top, like off-white pants, blood all over her.
And they still let her go. Yeah.
They still let her go. And that's where his family kept coming out saying, this is not right. And I think, she might have thrown it at him. She might have stabbed him and think it was going to get him away. But stab wounds can be far more lethal than gunshots.
Yeah, if you hit the right place in the arm, right place in the leg, you got matters a minute or two before you bleed out if you hit an artery. So that's crazy story. Thank you, Faran, for getting us up to date on that crazy story, and we'll definitely be looking for updates on that because I want to know.
Oh yeah, and thank you for the Amber. All of
Amber
it.
Updates. Oh my
Amber,
gosh,
Elon, all of it. Yeah,
never goes away, right?
Never.
So we've got lots of good cases coming up to cover. Of course, I keep seeing Daybell case, like pop up in my reminders for me to go do a deep dive and see where we're at. I know we've got trial dates coming up, so that's going to be a huge case that we're going to be tackling. And what other cases are you working on? Of course, Manson, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, this one, everybody is talking about the Chris Chan case, and I'm just kind of like, there is a Trump case coming up in September. Where it's yes. So there's that one too. There's a number of. There's also now Lindsey Graham, where they have subpoenaed him, Senator Lindsey Graham, to speak in the Georgia election.
Well, did you
trial
see
going
the
on with that?
Assange case that was filed today? The Julian Assange case. Julian Assange, journalists and people who went and visited Julian Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy over the years have personally sued Mike Pompeo. And yes, there's multiple of them. The information's out there. Go check out Free Assange now. I'm sure you'll find all kinds of good info on it. And yay, at least it's a step in the right direction of holding some of these people accountable for the spying that they were doing on Julian Assange inside the embassy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I talked about this earlier in my show, but I thought it was really interesting in the fact that here they want to try to get Trump for the Espionage Act.
Yeah, right.
And
oh my God,
is what they charged Julian Assange with, and he's not even an American. Yeah. and everyone was angry that Trump didn't pardon Julian Assange. It's just kind of
he should have.
All weird. The world is just a weird place, ain't it?
Yeah, Trump, Pompeo. I want to see Pompeo go down for sure. So what do you got planned for this week, Farron? I know your channel's been doing great over there. I'm loving tuning into your afternoon, evening feeds.
So yeah, we've just been, I'm just live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern for a couple hours, just talking about the news of the day and what's going on. I'm also live on Locals in the morning. If you haven't subscribed, fairandbalanced.locals.com.
Your Locals is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
sign up for the monthly, use the promo code BUDDY in all caps, and you get a free month so you can try it out. And actually, I'm going to be going live on there directly after this because we have some fun news that just came in. Very fun news that just came in. Wow, this really is one for the books. But yeah, so you're definitely going to want to sign up at least to hear that one. But yeah, and then I go live every morning, and we are doing the big weight loss challenge. So either Buddy or Diet in all caps is your promo codes, and down to like 11.4 pounds, and we're still
nice.
Trucking. So yeah, we share like. Our big thing this week has been quiche. Like we love quiche.
Oh, quiche, yeah.
So we've been doing quiche recipes and all that fun stuff. So, and then I also kind of go through the what's making headlines in the morning.
So yeah, that's always
fun. We have a lot of fun. So yeah, it's just been a good time. And then you as well, you have your Trailer Park Pundit. Tell us about that.
So of course I just rolled out the Trailer Park Pundit in the last week. I've been building a new home studio so I can start engineering shows for some of our friends in independent media. And yeah, I rolled out my own show that I engineer myself. As you might know, I do a show called Beauty and the Boomer along with my engineer friend, Oz the Boomer. And so, yeah, I'm kind of breaking out on my own, and I can't wait to have you stop by the Trailer Park Pundit. I will be doing those on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I'm going to be helping some friends out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that a lot of our viewers already turn into over at the Combo Couch. So, yeah, we got a lot going on. Yeah, so I'm excited for that, and that's what we're working on. And yeah, I hope you'll tune in. I think we have a Brave New Future this coming Friday with Amber King. I can't wait for you to meet Amber because I know you guys are going to hit it off.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, tune in to Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday nights over on Beauty and the Boomer.
Can't wait. Well, what a show, folks.
Wow, what a show. I know it's super late there. I appreciate you hanging out and staying up late to have this conversation with all of us. And hey, to all of the chats, I want to make sure that we didn't miss anybody, anything that we need to shout out. Chris Foster. Hey, Chris. Glad to see you, Chris. Is it really late there? I think Chris is in the UK, if I remember right. Thank you guys so much for all the support over on the Rock Fins and on the different YouTube channels. I think we're on Fair and Balanced, and we're on Beauty and the Boomer tonight. So,
and also major shout out to all of the mods as well. You guys,
mods rock.
You guys keep it going. You guys do all the links. You guys do everything. Shout out to Engineer Oz behind the scenes. Everything you see here, folks, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does take a lot of work.
Yeah, take it from somebody that was so used to having this at a news station. When I was like, I could do this, and it was like, oh wow, this is nice. When you have to do it on your own, as you've even seen, Chanda,
I know. I have
oh my god, I have a chat, I have super chats, I have this, I have that. It's a lot. So Oz makes it so
my head's just doing this the whole show.
Right. So Oz can makes it so that we can actually focus on what we want to talk about, what we want to say, and all we have to do is just look at our little cue cards to see what's next.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I brought us a little closer. I thought I'd bring a nice. If you haven't followed, is it Corey? I can't see because Corey Harvell. If you haven't followed him, please do. He does a nice acoustic live jam on Sundays on YouTube. He's got an amazing voice, and he is an outstanding guitarist. If you haven't checked him out, follow his channel. And crazy on you. And Johnny keeps winning. Johnny won again.
He does. 2 quick super chat shout outs. Really quick, I had missed in my last stream, LB, for the $20. Love your stuff on Amazon. Your reporting and shows are so much fun and great content. Love you. Shut the door. And then Fly Me to Capri. You gals are awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And you guys really help keep these shows going with all of your donations and everything. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Can't do it without you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then we're out of here. Have a good week. And don't let capitalism get you down too bad.
We'll see you guys next week.
Song that